Forest 1-0, finally, especially after all the stuff that went on before the game. We got over 1 XG. We're out of the relegation zone, finally. And we're gonna get into Europe now. Steve Davis's Barmy Army, let's go. Now, but that performance was a bit meh. Let's be honest, it wasn't actually that good of a game. Forest were absolutely woeful. They were shite. They could barely string two passes together. And to us, I wasn't really worried about this game anyway. Like I felt like we were going to win, so I wasn't really that stressed. But I get for a lot of people were quite nervous, which is understandable. And like, look, that was not a sustainable performance by any means. But given the situation we're in, given everything that's gone on with Lopetegui, we kind of just had to do what we had to do. And at least there was a plan. Like, don't wrong, Steve Davis isn't going to be here long term, but at least when this lineup came out, and when the lineup came out, because I thought it was a bit odd that Johnny played over Semedo, but the rest of the lineup I thought he got right. And in the first 10 minutes, you could tell what the plan was. It was pretty obvious. Potence was playing really centrally. Johnny was playing really centrally. He wasn't really playing inverted. And Ape Nuri was going up and down, and Traore was going up and down. And we were crossing the ball, which I know sounds like such a basic thing to say, but you had one guy inverted on each side. Not inverted, but like tucking in a bit. Put Nunes twice, just realised. But you had one of the wide players kind of tucking in, and then you had one going out wide and whipping in crosses. And I know it's such a basic thing to say, but at least it was kind of, when those last few games in the Bruno Lage, you had no idea what the fuck was going on. You had no idea what the formation was. You had no idea what the plan was. Where was this? I thought we ran around a lot. I thought we won our duels, and we crossed the ball a lot. And we got a very lucky penalty, because in my opinion, that was never a penalty. I don't think either of them were. Genuinely, I don't think either of them were penalties. I thought the one that got given against us was hilariously bad. I don't know how the hell they gave that as a pen. Like, it was it was stupid from Matthias Nunes, but it was kind of like what Marcel did against Brentford. I don't know if you remember that, when Brentford beat us 2-0 last season at home. Marcel just tugged down Tony. But the difference between that one is, I think it was Ryan Yates, was holding Nunes as well. So, like, they're both holding each other, bro. It's just one of them fell over. Like, that was not a penalty. The handball was not a penalty. I don't care what anyone says. That's not a penalty, in my opinion. But, look, the game was shit. The only things I took from it is I thought Totti Gomez actually had an okay game. Obviously, he didn't have to do much, but it was just bizarre. Like, looking back I don't get why Bruno didn't just put some faith in him. Like, it would have been an easy win. Like, but in that West Ham game where he played Neves and Johnny at centre back, if he'd have played Totti Gomez and Totti Gomez was shit, no one would have blamed Bruno Lage, because they would have just gone, the board didn't get you Craig Dawson, Nathan Collins got stupid red. No one would have blamed him. And I know it's a really basic thing for Steve Davis to do, but you just let Totti play a game, and I thought he was fine. Like, don't he made like the odd error here or there, and he's a bit erratic, but he showed that he's a decent enough Premier League level centre back to play against crap sides like Forest, who are bottom of the league and obviously terrible. Um, it was funny seeing Morgan Gibbs White and stuff get booed, and obviously all the stuff going on Twitter. But I was surprised Morgan Gibbs White got booed, to be honest. Maybe I'm just like out of the loop. And people can boo him if they want, by the way. I'm not judging people who boo him. They can do what they want. They pay their money to go every week. But personally, I thought it was a bit odd. Like, I don't get why you'd really boo Morgan Gibbs White. I don't really see the issue. He's come through the academy. He didn't hand in a transfer request. Sure, he didn't sign a contract, but Ruben Neves hasn't signed a contract. Daniel Pedence hasn't signed a new contract yet. Semedo's out of contract this summer. I'm pretty sure Pedence as well. I might be wrong. Maybe it's the next year. But anyway, that's a side note. But this game's obviously, it was good because it got us out of the bottom three, but there's still a lot of questions around the club. This game isn't sustainable. And Palace are obviously, I know Palace are only like a little bit above us in the league. We're only a point behind them now, albeit we've played an extra game. But Palace will be better than Forest, and if we play that like that against Palace away, they will probably beat us. So this game doesn't, like, I don't think we've particularly learned anything from this game. Traore was what he always was. Costa was isolated. Potence had moments. I thought Nunes had a good game, bar giving away the penalty. Patino was fine. Neves was fine. Ape Nuri was fine. Everyone was fine. I don't think we particularly learned anything interesting. But it's just kind of bought the club some time, I guess. But in terms of like the managerial situation right now, obviously, I thought it would have been done by now. I'd already recorded a video about Julian Lopetegui. I was just waiting for it to get announced, so I've deleted that now. But look, we're not going to get relegated. Let's be honest. I don't think we're going to get relegated. We could bring in Nuno, Rob Edwards, Ardi Hurter, who else has been, Marcelo Gallardo, whoever the hell's been linked, or people on Twitter want, whoever's a free agent. I don't think we'll get relegated. This squad's too good. Like, we're not going to get relegated, in my opinion. Like, it's not a coincidence that the two of the wins we got against Forest and Southampton, like, when we will get wins against the shit sides, and we will stay up. Do you know what I mean? So I don't mean it's not that important. Like people are saying, oh, if we get this wrong, get relegated. I think we could bring in a terrible manager and we'd still stay up. And maybe that's just 'cause I rate this squad higher than some other people, especially with like a January signing or two. But it is a bit of a mess right now, and I can understand why people are annoyed. Oh, by the way, it was nice to see Hugo Bueno and Joe Hodge get some minutes as well. Um, that was another little positive as well. But um, the manager hunt right now is just so weird. Like I was speaking to some people on Twitter and saying maybe the club are just leaking out like terrible names to like dim down expectation. And I was kind of joking, but Rob Edwards and Nuno are the most. I know they probably get into a lot of managers. Which, by the way, I don't really feel like you really should need to interview a manager. Like managers already have their CV out there. You know what I mean? Like, do you really need to interview a manager? Like, you should have done your research yourself, mate. Do you know what I mean? But look, I feel sorry for the club with obviously Julian Lopetegui and what's happening to his dad right now. I understand why that fell through, but it felt like there should have been a plan B by already. Like the fact that Steve Davis is probably going to manage Chelsea, Forest. Who else do we play? Palace and someone else. Who is it? Leicester. Yeah, Leicester. He's going to manage 4 games, and I know 3 of them are in a week. But come on, like, does it really take 2 weeks to get a manager? Like, we're a big club. We've got money. We've got like good players. Does it really take 3 weeks to get a manager? Like, come on, fam. And if it's Nuno, like, I get why people want Nuno, but like, come on, bro. You really want Nuno? Get a grip, man. Just move on. Just let the guy do whatever he's doing in Saudi Arabia. I personally didn't hate the Rob Edwards link. I wouldn't hire him. Can I make that clear, by the way? People were getting mad at me on Twitter. I don't want to hire Rob Edwards, but I didn't hate it as much as other people did. But it's still terrible, and we shouldn't even be being linked with him in the first place. At least not as a first team manager. And there's no one else. Like, if you go and look at the bookies odds, it's just like Dyche, Edwards, and Nuno. Like, unless Wolves have like some secret wild card up their sleeves, I have no idea what the hell's going on, and it is a bit concerning. Don't know, Wolves do keep things quiet. We kept Nunes quiet, we kept Guedes quiet, we kept Nathan Collins pretty quiet, and hopefully that's just the same with the manager. And we go on Wolves Twitter tomorrow, and it's breaking. Wolves have hired. Oh, look at you, Ruben! What a guy. But I hope we just go on Twitter tomorrow and like see, Wolves have hired whoever the hell it is, and it's someone great. But right now, like, it is really concerning. I'm happy we've won and all, but it is a bit worrying. But yeah, that's just my thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and yeah, peace.